I was literally starting over at 30. My mom passed away. I fell pregnant. My relationship broke down. I became a single mom. I quit my job whilst I was in debt and didn't have any savings. I genuinely thought that my house was going to be repossessed because I didn't know how I was going to be able to upkeep the mortgage payment. So I thought I was going to have to move back in with my dad. I didn't even know where to start because of how dire my situation is. Why is it that people who get married in the early 20s are more likely to end up in a divorce? Why is it that childhood stars have public meltdowns or drug addictions? Basically, people who experience success in the early years burn out or aren't able to sustain that level of success. Well, that's because you have to be seasoned through life experience for you to not only achieve but maintain success in life. But you're in your 30s and you're in a position where you don't feel very far on your journey. You feel like you have a lot of things that you still want to achieve and you're not close to where you want to be in life. And that's why I want to talk about starting over in your 30s. 10 years ago, I was in my early 20s. I was young, ambitious, hungry. I was arrogant. I had just finished my second degree, and just like most people, I had a dream. I wanted to be the first person in my family to have a career, not a job, a career. I wanted to reinvent the Black minority space in high-level position jobs. It never seemed impossible to me because I am the ambassador of Delulu land, so I knew that I was going to achieve this. And in a very short amount of time, I landed a high managerial position, which took most people years to achieve. I was elated. I bought my house. I went from chasing my dream to living my dream. But this is when I became arrogant. I became complacent. I started misusing my position of power. And of course, I got fired. How quickly I went up is how quickly I was humbled and came down. It was in my late 20s, and I would like to say this was my first rock bottom. But I managed to pick myself back up. I got another job and life continued. But little did I know that the biggest rock bottom that I would face was when I turned 30. My mom passed away. I fell pregnant. My relationship broke down. I became a single mom. I quit my job whilst I was in debt and didn't have any savings. I genuinely thought that my house was going to be repossessed because I didn't know how I was going to be able to upkeep the mortgage payment. So I thought I was going to have to move back in with my dad. I didn't even know where to start because of how dire my situation is. It would have been so easy for me to be paralyzed by fear, self-doubt, self-sabotage, and dig myself an even deeper hole than I was already in. But I still had the delusion that I had when I was in my early 20s that I could do anything. Nothing was too impossible for me to achieve. I had this clear vision of my dreams and my goals and everything that I wanted to achieve, and I knew that I was going to achieve it. Even though in the moment it seemed so out of this world, it seemed so impossible, but I had that self-belief, not only in my dreams, but in myself, that I was going to be able to do what I needed to do for me to achieve my goals and my dreams. So before I even started thinking about the strategy or even planning or how I was going to get myself out of the situation, I had to believe in myself first. I had to have the audacity, the self-belief, the delusion that I was going to reach the end goal. Just 3 years later, my life is completely different. As I'm sitting here today, I'm now debt-free. I have an emergency fund of 1 year. I am not living paycheck to paycheck. I pay my bills on time. I can now afford to comfortably buy things on my wish list without using credit cards or buy now, pay later, because I had the audacity to start over. There's no point to start thinking about your plan or strategy if you don't even have faith in yourself, if you don't even have faith in your own abilities that you're going to achieve it. You need to be be able to back yourself and to validate yourself, because there's no amount of validation that you would get from other people, affirmation and compliments and encouragements that you will get from other people if you're not willing to do it for yourself. I see it so many times when I'm working with a client who has a particular goal, but they don't have the self-confidence, they don't have the self-belief, which is why we always start on building up that self-confidence and building up that self-belief, because that is going to be the driving force to them actually achieving their goals. Even though I didn't have most people's experiences of exploring in their 20s, making a lot of mistakes in their 20s, because I did have a high level job and I bought my house in my 20s, but I couldn't sustain that level of success because I was young, immature, and arrogant. I didn't have that life experience under my belt to be able to know how to handle that level of success. So you need to remove the shame of feeling behind in life, of not being where you want to be, of not having achieved the things that you still want to achieve, because you're in the best position to start over. You have life experience. You've made the mistakes. Now you can learn from them and make wise decisions with discernment, with knowledge, with skills and experience. The reason why it's so scary to start over in your 30s is because apparently it's too late to start over in your 30s, but too late is what you decide. So if you decide that it is too late for you to start over in your 30s, you're not going to do anything and you're going to remain in the same place, unhappy and unfulfilled. But if you decide that it is never too late to start over, that you can start over at any age, whether you're in your 30s, 40s or 50s, stop caring about societal standards of success or comparing yourself to other people on social media who appear to have it all figured out, who appear to have their life together. Because firstly, take social media with a pinch of salt. Social media is like a CV or job interview. You're going to put your best foot forward. You're not going to tell the interviewer that you're always late, that you don't really know about the job. And that's the same thing that people do on social media. They present their best foot forward. Not saying that most people are faking it, but some people are faking it, and some people are only showing you what they want you to see. Secondly, you are on your own journey. You don't know what journey somebody else has had to go through for them to reach and achieve their level of success. You can't compare somebody's day 1000 to your day 0. Of course it's going to be different. Of course they're going to have more and achieve more because they have had a head start. They have started way before. But if you don't start, if you don't focus on your own journey and your own grasp, you're never going to see the same level of success on your own day 1000. Starting over is exactly that. Starting over. Being okay with being a beginner, learning new things or relearning things that you don't know anymore. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. So you need to go back to the drawing board, because most times it's not that you don't know what you need to do, it's that you think that there's a more complicated way for you to achieve what you want to achieve. But you probably heard it already, you probably done it already, you probably ignored it before. If you want to get out of debt, you know the basic principles is budgeting. If you want to buy a house, you know the basic principles is saving. If you want to get over a relationship or a heartbreak, you know the basic principles is healing or going to therapy. So it's not that you don't know, it's that you don't want to become a beginner. You feel as though there should be something more complicated. No, you need to go back to the basics. Be okay with starting over and being a beginner again. You need to enter your self-isolation era, and this doesn't mean that you have to self-isolate yourself from everybody and be a hermit. No, you need to remove the barriers and distractions that are actually stopping you from doing what you need to do to achieve your goal. Whether it's social media, other people, you need to remove those barriers that are in the way of you achieving your goals. Starting over isn't just about getting something or achieving achieving something. It's also about letting go of your old identity, letting go of the vision and idea that you had of yourself when you were 20, of how you were going to be when you're 30, because that is not your current reality. It's okay to let go and mourn that alternate reality that you should have been married by now, that you should have your house by now, that you should have kids by now. That is not your reality at this moment in time. It's not that you will never achieve it or you're not going to achieve it, but if you're holding on to what you should be right now, you're not going to be able to do what you need to do so you can actually achieve the things that you want. I always say that our lives are like a book, and every day you are writing the story of your life with the decisions that you make, with the things that you think about and the actions that you take. So if you're still holding on to an old identity, or if you're still holding on to an alternate reality, the story that you're going to write is going to be based on that, and it's going to hold you back. But if you're able to let that go, now you can rewrite your story to what you actually want and be able to take the action that you need to take so you can achieve that. And you rewrite your story with a plan. What do you actually need to do in order for you to achieve your goals? How long is it going to take you for you to achieve your dreams? If it's going to take you a year or 5 years, so you know the daily actions that you need to take, because you fail to plan and you plan to fail. The plan is less more about your desires and the things that you yearn for, but actual short-term goals, things that you're actually going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. I have a lot of women who come to me with a goal of starting a business, and one of the questions that I ask them is, what's the first thing that you need to do? And they seem to struggle a lot to answer these questions. I've had someone say, well, I need to find a location for this business. And I say, okay, so do you have the money to pay for the rent? No. Are you actually qualified to be able to provide this service? No. Have you started a course for you to be qualified to provide this service? No. And the reason why I ask this question is not to confuse people or not to make people feel stupid, but for them to understand there's a difference between a dream and a goal. What is it exactly that you need to do today for you to achieve your goal of starting a business? When you're starting over in your 30s, you need to invest wisely. I'm sure you've used your money on quite a few questionable things, whether it's fashion, whether it's services that you paid for or experiences that you've had, and looking back you're like, yeah, that was a waste of money. We're not in the business of wasting money. We know better now. Remember, we've had that life experience, we've made those mistakes. Now we should be able to learn from them. So when you're investing in services like therapy or coaching, be sure that you're investing in the right kind of services. 9 times out of 10, people are blinded by the glitz and glamour of marketing. Just because your favorite content creator is now providing coaching services doesn't mean you're going to get a return on investment from their coaching. And I say this as a content creator and as a coach, but I have clinical experience under my belt. I have life experience under my belt. Just because your favorite content creator has released a fashion brand doesn't mean you should buy the pieces from that fashion brand when it doesn't suit your personal style. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be supporting your favorite creators or favorite brands, but how does it align with where you want to be with achieving your goals and your dreams? If you think that you can achieve anything on your own without any help and support, you are in for a rude awakening. Of course, you're going to need support and help, whether it's through paid products or paid services or just getting free information from YouTube like this. But you need to have discernment on who you're giving your money to, who you're giving your time to. Is this product, service, or person going to help me and my bespoke problems? Are they going to be able to understand my journey, what I've been through? Don't just invest in services or products just for the sake of it. Whether you're trying to build a capsule wardrobe or to become the best version of yourself, it doesn't matter. This is the time when you should be investing wisely. Let me know one goal that you would like to achieve, and if it's something that I have knowledge about or experience in, comment. I'm happy to make a video about it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time that I upload a video, and make sure you watch this video about other goals that you can achieve in your 30s besides getting married, buying a house or having children. I will see you in an upcoming video. Bye lovelies.